Good evening, traders. Hi. I hope all is safe and you're doing good at the comfort of your residence. Today is the 16th of April 20 around 8:40 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And I thought post dinner to quickly create this video. I do get asked this question, this query many a times. How do I prepare myself to become a trader? Now, this question predominantly I've noticed comes from the younger section of the trading community, those who are looking forward to trade for a living. So they ask me, is there any particular formula or a blueprint which, if I follow over a period of time, I can become a trader? Well, the good thing is, yes, everything has and works under a particular formula. Everything under the sun, I believe, has a particular balance. And if you strike the right balance, the outcome is inevitable. So, allow me to spend some time, create this video for you. I hope this helps you to mentally first prepare yourself so that you can become a trader. The first step that I'm gonna tell you is about habits. Before I talk about habits, I just forgot to highlight a very important word in this previous sentence, which is prepare. This is the most important thing that you can ever do to yourself. Even in this COVID 2019 epidemic that the entire world is going through, the only suggestion that I can share is, no matter what the government is doing, no matter what other organizations and associations are doing, you need to prepare yourself at an individual level first. There are few things which are not in your hands, but there are things which are. And how you prepare yourself is the most important aspect. Now, this preparation can be of anything. In this video, I'm going to talk about how we prepare ourselves as a trader. So, preparation essentially has a lot to do with, I would say, habits. Because habits is something that essentially build us up. What we are is essentially a function of what we do automatically, our habits. Of course, our belief system plays a very important role here. The repetition of what we do over and over again, we tend to get better at it. We take much lesser time to do them. So, to make trading effortless, to make trading as if it's like brushing your teeth and not much stress assigned to it, it needs to go into the paradigm of habit. It has to become a habit. Now, I've done a bit of reading about habits, few books and all, and I've realized one constant pattern. There has to be a cue. The cue should lead to some degree of craving within you, which you would like to do. The craving should push you forward so that there is some kind of a response. And once you have responded, there has to be some degree or some kind of a reward. This reward essentially makes you feel good, and then you go towards the cue again. The cue again leads you to the craving again leads you to the response, and it flows like this. Now, as I said, I've done a little bit of reading about habits, and Atomic Habits is one book which I really liked, and this formula is over there, where the author mentions that Q is about something which is obvious. Now let's talk in terms of the stock market. obvious. Now, you have to have this belief that yes, it can be done. It is an obvious thing that if I learn it properly, I will be able to trade. I will be able to take my trading decisions. That if someone learns trading really well, he can make money in a month what he used to make in a year from his 9 to 5 job. So it's an obvious thing that yes, thousands of people are doing it, and obviously I can do it. With that in mind, you need to have certain degree of attraction. So why so many people are attracted to the stock market? Why do they find it so attractive? Of course, the money. But that is not the real fact. I have personally interacted, questioned, and understood thousands of traders, and I've understood only one thing: it's freedom. You're attracted towards your freedom, and the money allows you that freedom. Anyways, there is a degree of attractiveness in the endeavor of trading, and you want to do that. You're attracted towards it. It gives you some kind of a rush. It can be the money rush, it can be the freedom rush, it can be the fancy multiple monitors trading, and you can go out for a golf or swim after your day. And so, whatever attracts you, yes, stock market trading is attractive. Then there's a response. Now, this has to be easy. This is something that you will do. This ideally should not be very taxing. This is where you come into the picture really well. You have to make trading as simple, as objective as possible so that you can repeat it again and again. If you're doing something new every day, if you're trading based on some rule, some new rule every day, then it's not going to be easy. Coming up with a new rule every day is not going to be easy. So make it easy. Your response towards trading. Your response is what? Taking decisions on which stock to buy, where to exit. This has to be as concrete, as binary, as black and white as possible. The moment it becomes binary and black and white, there's no gray area, it's easy. The moment there is a little bit of gray area, there's a little bit of ifs and buts. And it's not easy. So we need to make this response part easy. And then, hopefully, if everything goes right, you have a reward which is satisfactory or satisfying. This is essentially what you're gunning for, prima facie, your money. You made a little bit of money at the end of the trade. You like it. It gives you a good feeling. There's a rush of dopamine that releases in your brain, and you want to go back to the queue again. Then you want to go back to the queue again because, oh, this is nice. This was good. I could make some money. You back to the queue goes to the craving goes to the response and the rewards. And this cycle goes on and on. To make this habitual, to sink this in, we need to do this in the same manner over and over again. A day or a two is not going to help. At least 40 consecutive trading days. At least. Because I've realized that it takes a month and a half for any new thing to settle down within your physiology. Either at the physical level or at the mental level. If you do something over and over again for a period of 40 days, it sinks in within your physiology. So 40 consecutive trading days, you need to implement this, and slowly it will get. The more the merrier, of course. So what is the first step to do all this thing? I always would recommend to learn first. In my classes, I always use an analogy saying that, asking people, how many of you do not know, let's say, how to drive a four-wheeler, a car? And most of them, or most of these classes, there will be at least one or two people who would say, no, we don't know, I don't know how to drive. a vehicle. And then let's say we gift him a vehicle. We give him a new, beautiful sedan. Will you take the car out the next day morning? The person answers no. Question him back, why not? It's your car, take it out. He said, I don't know how to drive. So I ask him back again, so what are the two options that you have? So option number one is you learn how to drive, so you go to a driving school, or you outsource it. So you find yourself a chauffeur or a driver who does the driving for you. Now let's talk in terms of trading. You need to learn. See, if you bunk both of these, if you don't learn how to drive and if you don't hire a driver or a chauffeur and you take that new car out next day morning, one thing is for sure, you're going to bump into an accident. Hopefully not major, but there's going to be an accident for sure. That's exactly what happens with people's portfolio. They think that they've saved some money, they watch some YouTube videos, sounds good, let's start a trading or broking account. Bang! The first couple of weeks or months may go well, then all of a sudden your portfolio is damaged. As long as your portfolio is doing good, there's no need to ask anyone. I am the king of the world. I can make money so easily out of the stock market. But very soon the market makes you realize, very soon the market makes you sit down on your knees, and then you realize, no, it's not as easy at it as it seems on YouTube. So I need to learn. So here you go, you learn. It is one of the most important aspects in your preparation. First you need to learn, and then you have to get better at it. Now, learning can be theoretical. Books and books, courses after courses, but there is no practical aspects. Learning can also be purely practical, no theoretical, but you will end up paying a very, very high price. If you don't want to learn and you want to implement into trading and you want to implement all your strategies you have understood from videos, only practical exposure, you will end up paying a very hefty price to the market in terms of losses. So it has to be a balance, like I said at the beginning. It has to be a balance between your theoretical understanding and your practical exercise. Now, there will be no end to this theoretical understanding. There's an infinite amount of contents, different schools of thoughts. You will keep on reading and reading, and you will find yourself that paralyzed and not being able to take a single trade because you've learned so much. When you practice, it will take you an infinite amount of time, and you will randomly do trial and errors of various concepts and strategies, but then you may not have strong theoretical understanding of what you're doing. So it has to be a balance. It has to be a simple balance of these two. So it's always good that you learn. Either you do it the hard way, which I've done, that is self teach yourself, or else you're in much better times. There are multiple academies, websites, mentors. You take your call. I'll just share my story back in 2004-5, 16 years back. I was in the city of Mumbai and I was completely in love with the stock market and the charts and technicals, and of course I did not have that capital or money to do any kind of course, but I was intrigued and I checked over the internet if there are any courses. Trust me, at that point of time there were hardly any. I remember there was one course which BSc Institute used to conduct within the building's exchange building. But then I realized at that point of time, 16 years back, that this is something that I have to do it myself. But now things are very, very different. You can get as many books as possible. There's Amazon for you. Uh, so educate yourself, learn. It's very important. Learn from someone or some book or some channel, those who have walked the path. It's always good to be with a community or association who are walking the path with you. That's the learn aspect. Once you've understood the concepts, you've learned theoretically, practically, okay, I have a software, I can open the charts, I understand what is RSI divergence, and more or less you've got a pretty good understanding. If we compare this in terms of your driving school, let's say I would say you are about to finish your um, driving school lessons. All right, if it was a 10 class session, you are on your 8th or ninth class, so you more or less know which is the gear, which is the accelerator, what is the work of a brake, etc., etc. So once you've found yourself there, you should do paper trading. Paper trading would be taking your own car out and first gear and second gear and try to just slowly drive, take some simple U-turns, take some turns and get used to it. Now, paper trading is essentially shadow practice. You would like to shadow trading, so you would like to do these hypothetical trades in real time rather than in historical charts. So I have a video on money management. I'll share the link within the description box. You can watch that video and you can download that Excel sheet, use that Excel sheet, maintain a hypothetical portfolio. So what I feel, according to my learning, I should buy this stock. This should be my entry, stop loss, and then you see, forward test yourself whether these trades actually play out the way you anticipate. You maintain a log out of that, you maintain a sheet out of that, and you do this over and over again. Recently, I saw that tradingview.com has started to allow you do paper trades. I personally have not checked it because after so many years, there's no need for me to do paper trades. But feel free to check that platform. They have started you to do paper trades. Paper trades are shadow practice, and you should do one or two setups over and over again. When you do this, the main objective of paper trading is getting a clear understanding, a sense of what to look for in the chart when I actually trade with real money. The main objective of paper trading is to understand very clearly your trading setup so that if you close your eyes, you can see how your trade setup looks like. So that when tomorrow, if your trade setup jumps up in any of the stock, you know this is it. This is the setup that I want to trade, which I trade. So clarity in terms of your trading setup, number one. And then also paper trading to a lot of extent will create you psychologically that
It's
when
9 o'clock.
Thank you, Siri. That's my laptop giving me an update of the time. So psychologically, you also prepare yourself for the real thing. And when the real thing starts, you'll realize, man, this is a completely different ball game. This is the most important learning of all. Actually, the real thing begins at this stage. This is when your driving class is over, you've got your driver's license, you are now ready to take your new car out on the street. And now the real learning begins. In terms of trading, all that you have done, all that you have exercised, implemented, theoretical, practical, they all boil down to this point wherein you put in your money, you take a risk, and you try to make a buck, your returns. This is where the psychology of a trader or your own psychology will play the most important role, especially when you hit a couple of wrong trades. When you hit these wrong trades, It is a question of how well you have practiced. It is how well you have faith in your learning, which will make you take the next trade. How well you have learned how to drive a car, even if you bump a little bit here and there. You don't go back and say, okay, driving is not for me, I'm not going to drive, I'm going to sell off your car. No, you will take the car out again tomorrow. So you need to have that conviction, faith, belief. And this conviction, faith, and belief can only come from your preparation. It is a process. It doesn't happen over a day or a week or a month. Make the entire process into a habit model, so that every day when you open your charts, you're looking for a particular setup. It is well defined and it's objective, not subjective. So it's relatively easy for you. And once you get some reward, you are within this cycle of habit. Please learn first, understand the nuances of the market, the risk, the possibility of returns, what to do, what not to do, the do's and don'ts. Write them down. Strike a balance between theory and practice. Paper trade as much as possible till a time comes when it has sunk in within yourself, when you know exactly what you want from your chart, so that you can place an order. Keep this as systematic as possible. And once this is done, you're good to start with real money. If you hit a couple of bad trades, remind yourself, no big deal, I'm going to come back again tomorrow. Staying in the game is more important than making a lot of buck out of your trades every month. If you stay in the game, the market will give you opportunities to make a big buck. There's no doubt about it. Only 20% of the time you will make some big returns, which will take care of 80% of your returns. Or I would say 80% of your returns will come from only 20% of your trades, or even less than that in case of stock market. So that's the video for today. I hope I made some sense how you should prepare yourself to become a trader. If you're already trading, you can follow this blueprint. If there's something which has worked for you, please share with me so that others benefit from your experience. And if you're completely new, the first and foremost thing, have belief that yes, you can do it. Unless you have that belief, no matter how many blueprints you create, it's not going to help. All right, so with that, I'm going to end this video. I hope you liked it. Please do share your suggestions and feedback. Till then, please take good care of yourself and trade well. Goodbye and good night.